Man, so Devin Haney tells Bob Arum to stop hiding, Lomachenko from him. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants that work. Stop hiding him. It's interesting, just due to the fact that previously he was talking about how, when Bob Arum he was brought up to Bob Arum, Bob Arum said, nah, he's just a pup, man. He's still young. He's, quote, not a top 10, 135 pounder. He still needs works and things of that nature. And Devin Haney was talking about how, you're not my promoter. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business when it pertains to, how I moved or whatever it is. You're right. He's not your promoter. But Bob Arum is Lomachenko's promoter. And Bob Arum's job is to do what he believes is in Lomachenko's best interest. Like when he had 2 belts and the WBC title was vacant, 135 pounds. Campbell, I believe, was number 1, and you were number 2. Your promoter, Eddie Hearn, somehow dropped the ball when it pertained to you. You know what I'm saying? Bob Arum was able to slide his fighter into there, where his fighter was facing Campbell for that belt. Now, ironically, your promoter actually is the one that promoted that particular fight, in the UK. He actually benefited from it, which is interesting. But he failed you. But Bob Arum did what he needed to do for Lomachenko. After that, you became the mandatory. Bob Arum was looking at like, depending on where this fight's held, it's very risky. Should we do this particular fight? If we're gonna face this type of level of risk, can we put ourselves into a better situation? And they decided that yes, we can. So what they did was they got themselves a little BS franchise designation and they let that belt go. Then you went ahead and you fought for that belt against somebody. You got the belt, it was given to you, then you fought someone and you're then seen as a champion, but then you hurt yourself. And then your promoter somehow failed you again. Because now that you were hurt, somehow they didn't let you hold that belt. They didn't let you keep that belt. Even though we've seen other people get hurt before in the past and were able to hold on to their belts, we've seen how many times we've seen Deontay Wilder get hurt and have to be out for months upon months at a time from broken hands and things of that nature. He's been able to hold on to his belt. But somehow when it comes to your promoter wasn't able to hold you down. And now you were stripped, and Campbell somehow Eddie Hearn somehow is benefiting from this. You get stripped and somehow your promoter benefits from it. Where now his fighter Campbell is going to fight, I believe a PBC fighter, Cuban guy, I forget his name, is going to fight him for the belt now, which is probably going to be, a bout that's probably going to be promoted by Eddie Hearn. It's probably going to be in the UK. And who's going to benefit somehow? Eddie Hearn and Matchroom off of your, you getting played the way you're getting played. Now, what happens with Lomachenko? We have Teofimo Lopez, who's been fighting in front of people. He's been put into a space where million plus people watch him almost every single time he fights when he's fighting on regular ESPN, because he fights in a network where people actually watch, where they get actual viewerships. He goes and he knocks out someone, knocks out the champion, becomes an IBF champion in an emphatic fashion, 1-2 rounds, and does it in front of 1.3 plus million people. He's a very well-known commodity, where just in that bout, just that one bout, probably had gotten more viewerships of that one fight than you've done your entire time at the zone. Now this well-known commodity, he's going to be able to headline against that guy. And he's going to be able to do it probably in Madison Square Garden. There are different people that are, offering, I guess, money to have it, in other places. But he's going to put him into a space where he's probably going to make, he might make more money. He's getting put into a place where it's going to be more eyes on him while still fighting a high-level caliber champion. We've seen you with your 12-round fight. You know, we seen this other young lion flatline a strong champion and do it quickly and emphatically. So we can't even say, oh, he's taken a lesser tier opponent. You know, looking at both of your records and what you guys have done, we can't say that due to the fact that, you know, you fight a Devin Haney, you know, Lomachenko's probably looking at losing a 12-round decision if he was to lose. When it comes to this young boy, Teofimo, you're looking at waking up, looking into the sky and looking at a ref talking about, wake up, are you okay? Are you okay? He's in the danger zone when it comes to fighting a Teofimo Lopez. He could beat him in a 12 round with a 12-round decision, but he gets caught, and we see the way he gets caught. We see the way that he gets hit, the way his face looks like. Look at the way his face looked like in the Campbell fight. We've seen him get hurt on multiple fights. We've seen what Linares was able to do to him. He's in real danger in doing this particular fight. In a fight that, I hate to say it, but it would be a bigger fight than fighting you. So when it comes to that Bob Arum, even though, you know, people might not like it, but he's doing right by his guy. You know, he's moving him into what he believes is right, is in the right situation. And then if he's able to get past that, you're looking at probably the possibility maybe of a Tank Davis pay-per-view event after that. Because if he's able to get past Teofimo, if he has that option of taking on Gervonta Tank Davis, that's a bigger fight than fighting you. That's a pay-per-view fight. That's a fight against someone that just did over 700,000 views versus Gamboa. That's putting in 12 to 15,000 people, you know, in the seats, you know, with high ticket prices. He's a star, the biggest star of the division. You know, people hate to hear that, but yes, Gervonta Tank Davis is the biggest star of that division. So if they can set up a fight like that, now you're looking at 350,000 plus pay-per-views. You know, now you're looking at 15, 20,000 people with some super high ticket prices. That's another option. So if he's able to do that, then that promoter's done right by his fighter. Your promoter, on the other hand, the whole purpose that your father said of joining Matchroom and joining the Zone was because Eddie Hearn could get you guys Lomachenko. So Eddie Hearn hasn't done what he said he's going to be able to do. You know, he failed you when it came to getting that, you know, belt, off the rip. He failed you when it came to that. He failed you when he couldn't, you know, get you to hold on to your freaking belt. And then he failed you because the fight that he said he was going to be able to get, he didn't do. And you have to look at that. Demetrius Andrade, all these fights he should have been able to get for Demetrius Andrade with Gennady Golovkin, Saunders, whatever the other dude's name is, they're all actually signed to Matchroom. You know, then you got Canelo fighting in the same, you know, in the same network. All of that can't get him any of those fights. Told Tevin Farmer to walk away from $2 million, you know, whatever, and upside for a pay-per-view against Gervonta Tank Davis. No, don't take that. Take this deal instead. Go fight Diaz for $500,000 instead. And he lost. He failed him. You got to look at those and stop necessarily focusing on all these other fighters and focusing on these other promoters and see what is your promoter doing for you. What's your promoter doing for you? The guy that promised all these things and said he could do all these things. He said it, I ain't saying. He said he could do all these things. Oh, how big Tank would be if he was under him. How big, Charlo would be if he was under him. How big Deontay Wilder would be if it's under him. Well, here you have all these other guys. You have these other guys. And what are you doing with those American fighters? What level have you put all the American fighters that you do have? You know? Start looking at that. He's supposed to get you that Devin Haney fight. So you need to stop looking at Bob Arum. You need to stop calling Bob Arum because Bob Arum's not your promoter. Eddie Hearn is your promoter. The promoter that said that he's going to get you Lomachenko. So you look at your promoter, okay, not Lomachenko's promoter, and tell your promoter to do what he promised you. Like, subscribe, share, and I'm out because the next year or so, it ain't looking pretty, man. It's not looking pretty unless you start making some new moves. I'm out.